Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Because you know I'm about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass.
Awesome. We love this. I think this is the perfect song for this show.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are currently in season 3, episode 4 of the Mindy Project, with this episode very appropriately titled "I Slipped."
Whoops.
What happens, I suppose. You are here with me, Sam Davidson, and my lovely co-hosts.
Hey y'all, I'm April Whisenhant. Are you all
Hey guys, I'm Sterling.
I'm Eman.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, we're super. This episode was kind of pretty funny, as they usually are. I'd like to start with first Peter and Jeremy. I really like that they're trying to become friends again.
I don't know if they're trying to become friends.
Yeah.
I think Morgan is more interested in making them. Yeah, he is. He's Lindsay Lohaning them.
Yeah, he is. What do you guys think about that, though? I mean, I think Lauren is perhaps out of the picture.
Well, she's dating Jeremy though, but
Well, didn't they kind of like kaput? Because he was sad this week. I think it's. Oh, I don't know. I kind of think her thing is over.
no, she and Jeremy are dating because remember he says he's like, did I give up too much for love and yada yada yada, and then later he talks about should I end things or whatever.
Right.
I think he's just, the reason he's sad this week is because he has no friends left in the office.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone's kind of doesn't like what he did.
I was a little confused there too when he was saying he was lonely. But I
Yeah.
think he was referring to The Office. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of had the feeling that she would possibly come back in the picture because women like that usually do.
Very true. I'm very hashtag Team Peter too, though. You know, just like we talked about last week. He's the innocent in all of this. Although obviously, I'm sure Lauren does have her reasons for breaking up with them. But I like that Morgan is trying to kind of put them back together and make them be friends again. Obviously, it ended in a lot of turmoil and
his
burnt eyebrows.
Right.
I'm
kinda
hashtag
terrifying.
Team Morgan.
Yeah.
Me
That's,
too.
that's,
Okay.
that's a real
That's better.
friend. When
Switzerland.
When you,
Yeah.
Huh?
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
When you
Switzerland.
have two friends that, you know, are going through something, it's up to you as a neutral party to step up and bring them together. I feel like when friends don't do that, they just genuinely don't want you to be friends, you know?
Yeah. And I think Peter and Jeremy realized that too at the end. They kind of came together and got something for Morgan.
Exactly.
Whether or not it was special,
So
they didn't even
hashtag
spell his
Team
last name right.
Morgan. They tried.
Yeah,
So
they-
that counts.
Sadly, I think Peter lost something, though. Can we touch on that
His
very
eyebrow-
quickly?
Other than his eyebrows?
No, like, it was a very interesting makeup job, I think.
I thought it was a Band-Aid.
It looked.
Yeah, they were Band-Aids.
Yeah, it was a Band-Aid, but like I just want to know what happened. Like it kind of looked like skin was falling off of his face. It was a Band-Aid. Is that what it was?
Yeah, well, they were like burnt off. It was
Yeah.
kinda
So
That's
like
why
when
he had a
the flame
Band-Aid
came.
off.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys think they'll become friends again?
Eventually, I think they'll become friends.
Yeah,
It's
I
a matter
think-
of time.
Yeah, well, he said they'll maintain a professional relationship in the office, but that doesn't necessarily mean you got to be friends outside of it.
Right.
But
I think what's
think it
going to
takes
happen
time for sure.
Definitely takes time. I think what's going to happen is that Lauren is going to somehow get pushed out of the picture, and then once she's out of the picture, they're just organically going to come back together.
yeah, and like we were talking about last week, Peter will probably get a new love interest here soon,
Exactly.
so
And he won't care.
He won't be so heartbroken.
Exactly.
He has to. He seems to have like hard luck in love, though, from what
Very
we've
true.
seen. I love him as an actor. Like, I find him so incredibly adorable, Adam Pauly. I'm such a huge fan, and he's such an adorable character.
Even
Yeah.
with the eyebrows?
Yeah. I mean, it might be a bad day for him, but
I wonder how long they're gonna like keep that going for.
They'll be
with
gone by
his burnt
next
eyebrows.
week.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's hard
well,
to
but
look
like,
at.
how are they? What if they like draw on his eyebrows? Because
That would
really,
be
though, His eyebrows, it's that little sense that it would make for his eyebrows to be completely there next week.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that, it's a sitcom. Like, they need to move on and, like, move forward with the stories. But I think it'd personally be hilarious if he got, like, drawn eyebrows.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'll do something.
Yeah.
They can't just let that die down after, like, a few minutes.
And especially after we just talked about it for a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Danny and Mindy.
The slippery situation.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, first of all, they have developed so beautifully as a couple. Unlike I kind of expected. I think we all kind of expected it to be a big train wreck, lots of drama. Thus far, it's been pretty awesome.
The scene with him putting the necklace around her whenever she was in the bathroom was so sweet and so not Danny-like. I didn't expect his character in a relationship to do that sort of thing, but it was really sweet, and I like to see how they're developing.
I
and
loved that bathroom thing.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's great.
And bringing the nose hair trimmers and, just really thoughtful stuff happening.
That's the stuff I'm interested about.
Yeah.
Not that I need it. I don't need it.
Well, I just thought my dad needed it. I was like, Mindy, geez, like what woman? I mean, hopefully I won't need it. I don't know.
Like nose hair too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess,
Girls
but
have
I've never even.
too.
Okay, well, we get those waxed. But as far as nose hair, I just didn't know that it was the thing that women would gracefully accept on television.
Mindy seems to have a lot of those little things that women don't necessarily gracefully want to admit, but that's why I like her character even more, because all the like little weird things, she's like, I have hammer toes and I have this, and she calls herself out about it. So I like the nose hair trimmer.
Yeah, me too. It makes us think, like, for Christmas this year, we're all going to ask for nose hair trimmers just because Mindy told us to. But let's talk a little about how their relationship is developing and about what happened in the bedroom that night. That very doomed
that
night.
fateful night.
I'm just going to sip my drink.
I don't know. I feel like like he was saying, they're very comfortable with each other. I don't know if an old shoe is the best way to describe a relationship that like just started. But they are very comfortable with each other, and that's really great. And maybe he just felt a little too comfortable, but still, with stuff like that, you got to pass it by somebody.
I just love the fact that he said he slipped, and then that Peter was like, no, he's lying, just automatically, because I believed him. I'm like, oh, okay, he slipped, whatever.
I didn't believe him.
Really?
I was like, how do you slip?
I think it's a thing.
Maybe it's lube.
That guys say.
I slipped.
Well, that's what Peter said, is that it's definitely like no guy ever has actually
slipped.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm too immature for this conversation.
Well, there's no men at the table to defend themselves.
I know, we need an outsider.
But
comment and let us know what you think.
Yeah,
slipped. No,
please
kidding.
do.
Just kidding.
We don't want to know that.
Well, not how or when or why,
No,
but
we just want to know, is this a thing?
Does it
Was
happen?
Peter right? Yeah.
I love it when guys comment on to girls when they ask them for advice. Like, if you go to a guy friend and ask him, like, is this a real thing? And they always have their own opinion on it for whatever reason. And I don't think that Peter has any feelings for Mindy, which is great, because usually I feel like when you go to a guy for advice, they will give it to you if you are a good girlfriend of theirs, but, thinking like, if I potentially would date you. But I feel like this was a completely platonic scene, which I loved, with the skeleton.
Totally.
It was like a brother, sister, let me teach you the way. It very much reminded me, though, however, this just came to me, the Friends episode where Monica and Chandler, are you guys Friends fans?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Love Friends.
Yeah, I literally watch it every night before I go to sleep. When he tries to teach Monica, Monica tries to teach Chandler of like the good zones to go on a woman's body, and it's just completely platonic.
And they end up getting married and having a child together.
Yeah, and they both started completely platonic. And if the Mindy Project, which we hope has pretty longevity, basically it's her and a bunch of guys.
Right.
So
I think for me personally, it would be really awkward if she got with Peter, because that would mean that she's gotten with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
And that's just kind of like, slutty territory.
She's officially the office at that point.
And it's like, especially once you've been with somebody in a serious relationship, there's like that, that bro code.
Yeah.
Right. Code. What is it called?
Bro code.
Whatever it's called. Bro code. I was right.
Yeah.
Bro code and girl code. You just don't cross, you know? And
I don't think Peter and Mindy is going to be a thing ever. And I think that scene was merely just so that she showed that she still wants to make Danny happy, but maybe not the way that he wants to try it.
Every girl has that friend that she can go to that's strictly platonic, and they can give you, you know, advice from their perspective and have no ties to you or the other person, or you know what I mean, like they don't want anything from you and they don't know that person. It's just safe, you know, to go there.
And you know, she's like really open about that kind of stuff ananyway, so I don't think she thought much into it.
I don't think it was anything that was thought into, but if the show goes as long as possible, I mean, who knew? I mean, actually, if I were watching Friends live back in the 90s, I probably would have guessed Monica and Chandler.
I never guessed that.
Really?
That was kind of like out of nowhere for me. Yeah.
Well, so you never know.
Yeah. That is true. You never know. I mean, I kind of, from day one when Rachel came into the show, I guessed that her and Ross were going to be together. It was just like
absolutely.
Automatically. Yeah.
But there was that history there with them. I know we're not doing the Friends after show here, but there was that history of him always being in love with her. So
exactly.
Yeah. A matter of time.
But the thing I love about the Mindy show, obviously, the Mindy Project, is that it's all about her. And Lauren kind of sucked. So we need some more ladies.
Yeah, we have
I think that's what they're going to end up doing, introducing new female characters.
That we don't hate.
Yes. I like Betsy.
She's too old.
No. Betsy and
which
the
one's
receptionist. Wait, Betsy is the
No, Betsy.
Beverly?
Okay, I was thinking Beverly.
Yeah.
I was like, she's too old.
Betsy's the receptionist.
I always think she's funny and has that little, she has that like cute little way that she talks. We haven't seen her in a while.
She's great.
So.
She is from UCB. Big fan of hers, but she's super funny lady.
Maybe she'll be back soon. Maybe she'll date somebody. And then Tamara and Morgan, you know, there are other ladies, but no one else can be like Mindy, though, right?
Exactly, and I feel like Mindy's a little territorial of the boys. So if they were to introduce a new female character, she would still be like,
oh yeah,
you know,
exactly,
exactly. And that's, I think, what's so special and kind of tainting about having, you know, a show like about a woman. Like, we get territorial. We want all of our men. Like, whether it's friends, boyfriends, brothers, like, we want control over them.
Right.
And I love that she even still has a relationship with her brother.
Oh yeah.
We haven't seen him this season yet, though.
Nope.
Yeah,
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon. What do you guys think about Morgan and Mindy? He first said he was like best friends. He called them best friends together. And I thought she was going to be like, we are not best friends. I don't know what you're talking about. But she just then apologized very quickly.
Because that's kind of their relationship. He always like says that they're way more serious than they are. But they're like, obviously we know how they are, how Mindy feels about him. But she also like actually really does love him. But that's kind of their like little playful relationship. Like, oh, we're best friends. I love you so much. And she's like, oh yeah, Morgan. Okay, whatever. But I like their little back and forth that they have.
I thought this was a really good episode for Morgan. He was really funny, really good friend. And he just doesn't really seem to catch on to the fact that like no one thinks they're as good of friends that he does.
I think that's what makes him special, though, because he's always like, "Oh my God, we're best friends! Oh my God, we're best friends!" And everybody's like, "We're associates. It's not that serious, but we'll play along."
Right.
So it's kind of cute.
He's harmless. I feel like
He reminds me of a Phoebe.
Friends.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he is totally a Phoebe. That's an awesome point.
Yeah.
He gave her a roofie, which was supposed to be a pain pill?
A sedative.
A sedative. Is that the nice word for a roofie? A sedative?
A sedative is not always necessarily a roofie.
Yeah, but she put it in her drink, and then she was drinking the drink, and that's
a roofie.
Made it.
I think that's a roofie at that point. But
I think it's just a roofie just to make you relax and, you know, more. I don't know nothing about it, so let me just move it right along.
I think what happened.
Well, it's definitely not intended to be put in a glass of scotch, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, the scotch was a very aggressive choice on Mindy's behalf. However, I completely understand because the episode is called I Slipped.
Yeah.
Right.
So
at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to do something like that to make yourself okay with doing something.
Right.
You know?
But it's Mindy.
Yeah.
And she's always so extreme to prove her points. If she didn't do that, we'd be like, this episode was boring.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So she had to do that.
And then Danny didn't even care.
I know, poor guy goes with her to the freaking hospital. And he's looked at like a guy that roofied her.
That was actually pretty funny.
That's a girl.
You disgust me.
I know. Well, I mean, obviously that would be like the first thing people think that would happen. Like,
Yeah.
who roofies himself.
Majority of the cases are probably exactly like that. So.
Yeah, I know. But I love how Morgan gets the texts from her. And he just runs over because he knows. And that was an amazing scene when because if you've had too much to drink, I mean, I personally have never been roofied. I hope none of you other ladies have as well.
Thankfully not.
But I could only imagine it being that terrifying. And she starts slipping off the bed, literally like grabbing for her life on the bed. And it looks like the entire room is turned upside down. And of course, then, she's taken to the hospital. And everyone comes to save the day, basically, for Mindy. And I just think it's such a kind of adorable reflection of what her relationship has been with Danny.
Because everyone loves Mindy. They have to go and save her and help her and everything.
There's been several times she's been in the hospital now that
She gets in a lot of mess.
that people have had to come for. Do you guys think that, I mean, obviously they're going to get past it, but don't you feel like every episode there might be an obstacle, some kind of obstacle for them? I mean, this week I slipped, next week what?
Yeah, I feel like I think we touched on this a little bit the past couple of weeks about how, because it can't be just smooth sailing every episode. So there's got to be something that they go through, something to make the relationship stronger each week. But I think at the end of the day, it's still going to be peachy between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's how relationships are.
Exactly.
I feel like they're summarizing.
You have to end up in the hospital.
Right,
Yeah.
they're summarizing a year length of a relationship into 3 episodes. You may not go get into different issues every week, but every 3 months there may be something that comes up, like, oh, your mom is coming to visit, oh, you slip, and whatever. That's real stuff that happens in relationships. And I'm glad, I didn't think that they were going to cover this, but I'm glad they did, because some people are going through it.
It's definitely not a topic I thought they would ever touch
on.
But especially I thought about this earlier because of Danny being Catholic and how he's like, oh no, I'm Catholic, whatever. But I'm kind of glad that it was hilarious.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, that's what I like about this show, though. We were talking earlier about with the nose hair. Like, Mindy is just a real person on TV, and we don't see that a lot. So I love that they're covering real situations. That happen
We
to some
haven't
people.
gone through it, but some people we know may have gone through it.
Yeah, exactly. It's realistic.
to each his
stuff.
own, right?
Right.
I feel like this is turning into a bit of a new Sex in the City. However, I would like for her to have some more lady friends.
Okay.
What happened to her
I will
friends?
say it's not Sex and the City. Well, but nowhere close. But I don't want her to be Sex and the City. I want her to be Mindy Project. I don't want her to be,
I do too, but I love the sexual happenings that you know what I mean, like the situations. That's what I mean. Not the Sex in the City, but the sexual situations that end up happening. Like
True.
That happened in Sex in the City. It's happened in many other shows like that. But don't you? I mean, I think it was funny. I'm shocked by episode 4. They've already
this is episode
slipped
4.
it in.
Nice.
Very good point.
I mean, that's like a little soon, don't you guys think?
A little bit.
But I love it.
Like I just said earlier, I think really they're in month 8 in their relationship, not week 4. So, that's about the right time, right? Try new things.
I don't know. They gotta do something to make it different.
Yeah. I couldn't remember when they said I love you for the first time tonight. When was that? Because
For the first time ever or tonight?
Or not to, the first time ever. When was that?
Yeah, I don't think they
remember.
really. I felt like that should have been an episode on its own.
Oh, me too. That's why when he said it in the bathroom, I was like,
oh,
they've
that's
said
kinda
that already?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I might be
I feel
forgetting
like
it, though.
briefly might have happened last week, and they were fighting maybe? I don't know, but it seemed very,
Casual.
and Mindy is a very, as far as love is concerned, the woman is a very serious lady. I would assume she would want roses, chocolates, a poem, but it just happened in the bathroom. But I don't think that was the first time, obviously.
Right. They downplayed it.
They did.
Yeah. I would have liked to see like a full like episode
about it.
with like to be continued in Mindy's honor.
For sure. Maybe they're trying to take us in a different way though, because we all expected it. So maybe they just obviously none of us were expecting this. So I mean, but I still would have wanted it.
Because when they were saying "I love you," I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad all y'all were thinking that, because I was like,
it was so casual to me that I didn't even notice it. I was like, oh,
just like she was brushing her teeth, right?
Yeah. Like,
They said it like 3 or 4 times.
Love you, love you.
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it was pretty adorable. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Eman.
I was just gonna say, I hope they're not taking us on a roller coaster ride where it's like, oh, about to drop.
Me too.
I will lose my mind. Yeah, seriously, I'm not mentally ready for that.
Me either.
I don't know. I know the holidays are coming up soon, and shows go on a little hiatus, like to throw us a curveball. Just
Don't
trying to
throw
be
us a
realistic
curveball.
here.
Our hearts can't take it.
My single heart cannot take
No, mine either. I think to be in love.
All right, we're all vicariously living through Mindy,
Right, exactly.
hoping this work. If it does not work, then we're all gonna be devastated.
We're all gonna die.
We're all
and
putting our
this after
love.
will be no more.
Yeah, no more. We'll just be crying the entire time. So let's get into predictions, ladies. Do you want to start,
And
Sterling?
now,
Oh, man.
your AfterBuzz TV.
You look so thoughtful.
I'm just thinking. I don't know what I want to predict.
Do you want to start, Eman?
Yes, anyone can, just throw something out there.
I don't want this to happen, but I'm thinking that there will be a roller coaster. What is it called when they?
Yeah.
Drop.
I don't know. I guess every week we have seen these, like little obstacles that haven't been a huge deal for them to get over. So maybe there is going to be something bigger that kind of causes the drop, maybe like in the mid-season.
Because at these issues, you would think they would have been a lot bigger than the way they played it off.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like finding out like he's a male stripper or like stuff like that. I feel like that wasn't
At
just,
least 3
I feel
weeks
like-
back and forth, right?
Yeah. I feel like that just would have been brought up more.
Exactly.
But like stuff like that. So they get over things really fast. So there's got to be something that challenges them a little bit more. And for Peter, I really want someone to come in, a completely new person, to A, have another female character, and B, to be a good
I'm saying
person for
bring
him.
Maria back.
Yeah.
or a completely new person.
Yeah, either one. I agree completely with what both of you said. Something that I was just thinking about is maybe a way that they can introduce more women characters other than hopefully giving Peter a new love interest would be what's something they kind of touched on tonight was where Morgan said something about how he didn't think she would be the girl to like give up on all of her friends for her boyfriend. She's like, are you kidding me? I've always wanted that, because she did have a lot of friends in the first and second seasons, and we haven't seen a lot of them. So maybe that'll be a way to introduce more women, and maybe that'll be like,
Totally.
her getting back to her. She's so relationship and Danny centric right now. Maybe that'll be a way for her to, some other storylines to branch out from there as well.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they're still in their honeymoon phase, kind of.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something coming up.
Yeah. I think whatever comes up must come down. And there does need to be more female characters on the show. So I predict that something might happen that she's going to be like, okay, Danny, okay. Like, you do your thing. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to go out with my lady friends that we didn't know she had, which I'm sure she has. Because, I love TV shows because you only see a little bit of the person's life.
Right.
Like, just a very small amount. And so, who knows? She could have a bunch of lady friends. And she, Anna Camp, I don't know if she's coming back. I kind of hope so. She was in Pitch Perfect. You guys remember her from first season? She had the kid.
Yeah.
I would love for her to come back. I also would love for her, I think that, Danny has, a lot of skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
Because he had the ex-wife, then all of a sudden the stripping thing came up, then he slipped. Who knows what's next? And I also think that Jeremy and Peter are going to become friends again. I don't really want to see Lauren much more. I'm not sure how much more we will see of her. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Sam Davidson. Please don't forget to follow AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me at SamD43, and you can follow April.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Imani Fresh.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just like everyone else, at Sterling Cates.
What's up? Awesome. Okay, guys, we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.